Welcome back to Bespoke Addict. I've got some of my slippers here that I wear around the house. This is a pair that's absolutely filthy. I was wearing these last night actually. Um, we are having some building work done in the house, so forgive the state, but these should come up reasonably okay. Just a quick brush with a clothes brush and revive them reasonably well. Quite a lot of splashing. I've been wearing it for cooking as well, so but I might need to get a bit of fabric cleaner, upholstery cleaner, that type of thing. But yeah, that'll do. That's not really what I want to do. Yeah, we'll come back to those. And there's another pair of Foster and Son, barely worn. Well, I have worn them, but I only wear them around the house. And once again, they're absolutely filthy because of the building work. But they'll respond very, very easily to a light rub with a clothes brush. It's just dust. There's no particular dirt. It's just dust, and they'll come up looking almost new again. These are a Grecian slipper by Foster and Son. They're not bespoke. These are ready to wear. Very elegant. They're meant to be worn with sort of silk socks. You wouldn't wear them with heavy knitted socks. And quite honestly, they wouldn't be very comfortable. They are very snug, these things. They're meant to look elegant rather than comfortable. I wouldn't say they are the most comfortable things. They look elegant, but you wouldn't want to sit around watching films in them. They're rather stiff, but they're elegant. And it's the same with these. These are a lot more worn. They're not the most comfortable, but they are very, very elegant, even in this scruffy state. But yeah, the building dust has rubbed away, but these little splashes of I was cooking last night, so it's my own stupid fault. But that's what they're just house shoes. Not bad. But I've got two more, much more special pairs that I really wanted to show you. Here's one. Once again, they're a bit dusty. Now, these are an entirely different case altogether. To the casual glance, they look very similar to, let me reach behind, to these ready to wear. These are bespoke. These are 100% bespoke. They're not ready to wear. There's a difference in construction. All ready to wear Albert slippers, velvet slippers, if they're ready to wear, they have a cemented sole. It's leather, but it's not welted and it's not stitched. This is altogether different. This is hand welted, hand last, and it's stitched. And where the toe just kicked away slightly here, you can just see the telltale stitching. But there is a concealed channel all the way under here. I can just get my fingernail in it, look. It's a concealed channel. These are an altogether different case, and they're identified as new and Lingwood for Pulse and Scone. Pulse and Scone were the bespoke maker that went out of business, and New and Lingwood bought the rights to the name with the idea of producing a ready-to-wear, a Northampton made, probably made by Crockett and Jones or whoever, with New and Lingwood Pulse and Scone name on them, but they weren't intended to do bespoke. But Pulse and Scone were a bespoke maker traditionally, and a lot of their clients still wanted their bespoke shoes and even had their bespoke lasts. Now, this is one of those shoes. This is a bespoke shoe made for a client of New and Lingwood, an old Pulse and Scone client. But I don't know who made it. I do know that George Cleverly made the New and Lingwood bespoke when when New and Lingwood took over Pulse and Scone. George Cleverly had recently retired, but New and Lingwood didn't have a bespoke workshop, and but they were getting bespoke orders that they couldn't fulfil themselves. And George Cleverly was a bit of a loose end because he'd retired, so he was doing the odd bespoke shoe for them. Now, to be honest with you, these really look, that classical chisel. This really looks like a Cleverly. The sole is everything Cleverly. There's nothing to suggest on the way these shoes are constructed, and I'll show you another pair to compare them to in a minute, that they're not by George. The only thing that makes me suspicious is Cleverly shoes normally have a little leather disc cut in here with the codes and the date. I've got a pair right behind me. Let me just show you. Those that are familiar with bespoke Cleverly will know, but that's what I'm talking about. Just this. That's normally how Cleverly shoes are marked on the Bespoke, the date. Now, I've never seen a pair of George Cleverley. This is engraved into the just in front of the heel. What does that read? 3326. Is it 64614? John Lobb occasionally do that, and I do have some other makers, Faulkner and Sons, but I don't believe either of those companies made these shoes. Why would they? Why, Faulkners were long gone, and I think Lobb owned the rights. Somebody like Jim, will recognise this, and they're 100% bespoke, but I just can't be absolutely sure who made them. But let me just show you these. These are extremely special. Had them on camera before. These are George Cleverley, Bespoke. Just giving them a light rub. Any bits of dust. Truly remarkable things. And if we look at the profiles and the silhouette of the toes, the chiseling, they're so similar. The soles are extremely similar. These are more extremely flared in the more traditional Cleverley sense. This pair don't have that wheel mark there. The only thing that makes me suggest it's possible that George didn't make these is the marking here. But anyway, I don't know. I'm thrilled with them anyway. Now these fit me. They're lovely. They're absolutely superb. They're snug. They were made when were they made? 1996 for a very, very well-known client, very well-known in bespoke circles. One or two of you will have recognised the what's that called? Not a signature. The initials. The name escapes me. What I'm trying to suggest. This is the thing recording. You can't always recall. Never mind. This were another pair made for the same gentleman. It's got his initials on the monogram. Is the word I'm scratching around for. It's got his initials on the trees. They were made for the same very well-known client, and his widow sold me his shoes about 3 or 4 years ago, but she did ask me not to identify him. He's the sort of gentleman that would have been mortified if his name had been put forward. And I do know that somebody will recognise these. Please, by all means, if you recognise who he was, send me a direct message, but please don't be indiscreet and make it public. His wife did ask me not to, but they're glorious. And they do fit me really beautifully, but they are snug. They're wonderful for parties. They're wonderful for formal events, but you're standing and you're wearing silk socks. They're fine. These are a little bit big for me. I certainly wouldn't be able to wear them to a party, but they're actually rather comfortable because they're a little bit big, slightly floppy. They don't fit me in a bespoke way. I can wear them with thick socks around the house in the cold winter months. Certainly any of the others I've just shown you couldn't get thick socks into those. It has to be very, very fine silk socks. So these are perfectly fine for hanging around the house and just shuffling about. But yeah, and they're comfortable. I can keep them on for hours on end without them hurting my feet. These things, when you've been wearing them a long time, they start to hurt here where there's it's quite tough. They're elegant, but my God, they're just not built for comfort, where the seams roll and stuff. I suppose if I wore them and stretched them and softened them, made them look a bit scruffy, they'd be a lot more wearable. But they are elegant. But yeah, this pair, whoever made them, I do suspect it probably was George Cleverley. But somebody watching will recognise the codes and who put codes there. What does it matter who made them? They're extremely fantastic. The only difficulty with them, they've had a little bit of attacking from moths. It is silk velvet, and moths love this stuff. The other one's far worse. Where is it? There it is. But it doesn't take away from their elegance, but it has spoiled them a little bit. Just here, the moths have been nibbling that. And it's another reason to be brushing, like you brush your suits. Any moth eggs just get brushed away. There we go. Fabulous things. But I'll just use those for sort of lounging around the house, and in the winter with thick socks inside. They're just not meant to be worn with thick socks, but I do, because they're I'd say they're not quite a size too big, about 2/3 of a size. Just they don't look as nice as these when they're on, but they're not in such good condition either. There is a world of difference reaching behind me for these. Where are them? Oh, there is a world of difference on the quality of the velvet between the ready to wear and the bespoke. It's just they look casually on the casual glance quite similar, but the velvet is so buttery soft. It's just lovely. This is a bit rougher, but they are nice, and they have a nice sort of quilted line. I've got several pairs of ready to wear. I've got them in blue, emerald green, red, black, and they have these lovely sort of quilted linings. My green ones have a gold lining. They were made by Andrew Murphy, A. Murphy Shoe. He worked with Foster and Son for many years before they closed, and I believe he's stayed in close contact with the maker of Foster's slippers, and they're exactly the same as his, quite frankly. And you can order any monogram, any lining, but they are made to order. They're not bespoke, and there is a huge difference in cost between these and these. There's probably these will be about 20 times more expensive than those. They are filthy and mangled, but when they're sort of, it's a shame I didn't pick up some of my others, because the ones by Andrew Murphy, they're absolutely crisp and beautiful, and to compare them, so they do look rough. It's not really a fair comparison, but they're good enough. You don't need to go to the extraordinary bespoke lengths. These are good enough. They're not cheap shoes, but compared with a bespoke, either these or these, they're I'd say about 5% of the cost. Yeah, these things would be 20 times more than those. But anyway, so I just wanted you to sort of see what I've got here, covered in dust, and I've got about another 7 or 8 pairs at home, completely covered in dust because of the building works. I've been moving my stuff out of the way, and it's all piled up, and it's got covered in dust. But never mind, no real harm done. It's they're just shoes. But, these are by a long shot my favourites, but quite honestly, these will get the most wear because they're just so comfortable, and just for shuffling about the house. Beautiful, beautiful things, all of them.